G'day, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this is part 3 of my video monthly observations for September 2025. Part 3 always looks at the MO in the month's numerological chart. The MO can be read as how, or the factors that are going to form the how, going to form the impetus, the encouragement, the way in which we learn, we evolve, we grow, and therefore we step forward and evolve, stretch over the period in question. This month we see 40 as September's generic every year MO, which reduces to 4. It's a 40, which reduces to 4. But also, specifically, if we combine September with 2025, we see 143.8. This month's chart, again, carries 8 4s, and that is a lot. We're used to high tallies, of 1s and 2s. We've been in that sort of phase since at least the year 2010. However, every other number, it goes up and down, but very rarely do we get as many as 8. Yeah? So 8 numbers in a tally, that's a lot. And what I mean by that is it is likely, therefore, that over this month you will notice the themes that 4 represents more than usual, louder than usual, for your benefit, and therefore as a prompt to learn, to get wise about, and actually implement moving forward on a spiritual level, however you do. So what I want to talk about, and bear with me before I start that, if you go through to the website psychicandenergywork.com.au to the monthly observations page, the third section, I run through this month's MO. But I don't cover the things I'm about to cover here, all right? So what's written on the website leads into it, this video, as well as vice versa. So make sure you get across both levels. Why I say that is because in this video, what I want to hone in on is 4 as the model. Now, if we think about the word model, what is the model? The model can be the approach, the way we do things. The model can be the system that backs what we do. In other words, you know what, it's, should we say, it's the production process. First of all, we mix the ingredients, then we feed them into the machine, then we put the bottles onto the machine, and then go into the model, into the bottles go the final formula, etc., etc. So model can also mean, and therefore for a high 4 period like this month, can also mean value systems, because of course value systems are models too. Value, if we define a model as anything that functions as a guiding rail, as a parameter that influences or dictates how we act, what we believe, etc., etc. 4 is very much a time that can see us reviewing our values, or even value systems, in a way that helps them rebirth, helps them be updated for the now. Now, that's a really interesting point, given, again, everything that's going on in the world right now. So many models, so many frameworks are being reviewed, undone, wiped out, overhauled, annihilated, etc., etc. In a sense, that is a construct, or that is a dynamic that is way beyond numerology. And what I mean by that is it's not just in the numbers for the year, it's actually also astrologically explained to a very large degree. So feel free to get across astrologers like Pam Gregory, Jessica Adams, and others. There are going to be lots of people out there. You probably already have your own pool of experts, but get across those explanations, because they help to place what seems to be happening in our little picture into the very big picture in a way that often buys us more objective stances, responses, as well as, of course, perhaps just more peace of mind as to why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. So within that, coming back to 4, coming back to this September, 4 can be a time where we overhaul our models. We might do that because we're just having a very nice enhancement. We might do that because really everything that we've operated with or on, all of a sudden seems futile, irrelevant, way out of date. Yeah, so that the need to upgrade model can happen because, it's just a pleasant extension, as well as because all of a sudden we're facing a whole lot of challenges that are literally saying you just can't function like that anymore. A really good example of this is Australia's real estate market. And I'm not saying that Australia is the only place in which this is taking off, but of course the last few years has seen, and when I say few, it's probably more than 2 or 3, but anyway, the last few years has seen not only the ownership model blow out, but also the rental model, to the point where you could argue for both groups of people, be they owners of property or real estate or renters. Yeah, increasingly the model is, I don't know what the words are, raising questions about whether or not this is all life is, whether or not this sort of life, this sort of model or value system, excuse my friend, suits me, whoever the me is. And therefore within that, what is my model really? What are my values? Because, of course, it's through the values, through the knowledge of the value, the awareness of our values, that we even establish the model or the way of life that we know is for us to begin with. The reason I say that is because, again, 4 can be a time that is about reviewing the models, because on one level, we're not here to live a model. We're not here to just be automatons that plug into the way that everybody else does it. And that is increasingly so, again, since the year 2000. More and more people are being asked to get in touch with themselves, as in their journey, their spirituality, not because that needs to be at war or at odds with anybody else's, but simply because it reflects the fact that we are all unique journeys. And that we are here as a whole lot of unique journeys to have one collectively harmonious and well-merged journey on the whole, on the societal, on the global level. In one sense, I'm already, excuse me, sweet pea, on one level, I'm probably telling you stuff that you already know. But you see, within this, again, is the dare to know that you are here to be your own model. Within that, therefore, is the realization of you're not here to just blindly follow. You're not just here to live according to a rule or a value system that either kills you, stretches you in a way that isn't fair, in a way that doesn't even feel right in your bones, not because you're necessarily doing it from here, even though there are good arguments for that, but because it genuinely doesn't suit you. It's not allowing you to live and breathe as in balance, in harmony, in a way that is positive, in a way that remembers what's really important. And again, if we look at Australia's rental market right now, so many people are being reduced to the point where, they just live to pay somebody else rent. And that's not what life's about. What I'm not trying to do is denigrate the models in themselves called renter property or even owner property. There's nothing wrong with either. And of course, most of us have to do that. But within this, what I'm trying to highlight is that, again, 4 in high volume can, shall we say, use the model that we embrace in a way, or position the model, can see life playing out in a way that really throws the value system, the ethics, the processes, the methods, the goals, the values into a huge amount of questioning. That isn't happening just to create dissonance for the person who's experiencing that. Life is not, it is never a moment that is only trying to say, you don't mean anything, you don't matter, this is the way life is, the world is square, there is no variation on this, you have no room to experiment, adventure, work it out for yourself, or cut your own journey and your own path. And this year, not because it's started this year, but this year is very much highlighting that. In other words, wherever life doesn't suit you right now, wherever things, the ways that you follow or the ways even that other people follow don't really sit well, to the degree that the pressure has been building on those points, it's only building because life's trying to say, you know what, move up the corridor because there's a better way of life for you moving forward if you dare to walk sideways, if you dare to stretch out, if you dare to look over the fence line called the limit in the view of the given that you've embraced at some point in your life. If we come back to real estate, you don't need to read many books on colonialization or colonization, beg your pardon me, to understand that when colonization was at its highest point, a lot of the value systems and therefore the behaviors that came out of that was driven from the need to own something. At that time in society's age, in history, you were nothing if you owned nothing. So all of a sudden, colonizers were heading off to places where they could own something and therefore they could have a value. And even that's interesting, isn't it? Because we are the ones that set our value, nobody else. But of course, the system that we are currently stretching in, rebirthing through, is a system that was established at a time when your value was far more established by the outside world, by the upper echelons, than it needs to be now. And so, in one sense, 2025, with that 5 in there, is a year that is trying to show everybody where freedom lies. Freedom not as an irresponsible, uncaring, inconsiderate, egoic state, but freedom as an empowered place, as an affirmed place, not just for the individual. Spirituality is not about exclusively it's me versus you. I win, but you don't. 2025, and therefore through 2025, 9, closure, ending of patterns, systems, even just views, values, perceptions, internal life. 2025 is here to help us sense that we don't have to live in misery, in disharmony, in imbalance, in stress, in negative at all, and that it is only us and our acceptance of our values and our systems, not because they're in themselves theoretically irrelevant or wrong, but because just at the moment, egoic self on a collective level as well as individual, wherever that applies, has stretched the model to the point where it's really actually not containing the essence it originally did. So use this September to again help yourself release, relax, stretch. Use this month to let go of inner chatter, all voice, all noise, even that as an affirmation as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I let go of all noise. I let go of all voice. I let go of my need for voice, not because you're choosing to never express yourself again verbally, but because by releasing all voice, we can let go of the inner chatter that stops us from getting to the peace, that stops us from sensing where our truth lies, where our values or what our values are, where they can now come out to play, where they can be allowed to guide us to discover the next layer of model that we are being called to be, not because we're at war with anybody else's, but just because, you know what, I'm just stepping this way, knowing that life supports me, that intuition will always guide me. For as long as I breathe, I choose integrity, and I just do the best I can. So dare to live your model, dare to be your model so as to live it. because that's the dare of this year. It is also the gift and the breakthrough through any hardship, through any pain. That is the end place life's trying to get us to. That aha moment where we're re-energized, reinvigorated, re-inspired to get up, get on with it, and get going again. Take good care, move through to video 4 for September 2025. Go through to the website to read about part 4, as in the reality number for this month. And again, get in contact if you need a hand in any way. My numbers are on the website. Take good care, travel well. Thanks for watching.